Okay, everybody, this is the second best 8th grade math teacher in the building, Mr. Knoll, helping you out with page 143 and 144. Thanks for joining me today. We're looking at problem number 1 on page 143. If we zoom in a little bit in it, they have solved the equation above. Number 1 just says check the solution in the example by replacing n in the original equation with -2 and evaluating both sides. So what we're going to do, looking at number 1, is take the original equation and substitute -2 into that equation on both sides. So we would have 4 times a -2 equal to 1/2 times 2 times -2. Uh-oh, folks, I'm running out of room. Let me move over. There we go. Minus 12. And I want to evaluate both sides, which just basically simply means find the value of each side of the expression, or of the equation. If I look at the left-hand side, 4 times a -2 gives me a product of -8. The right-hand side, looking at that expression on the right, I'm going to perform the order of operation inside of the parentheses first. So 2 times a -2 is -4 minus 12. And I got to multiply that quantity by 1/2. Inside the parentheses, again, we got to focus on that when I evaluate this expression. I am going to take -4 minus 12 and get -16. And I still have to multiply that by 1/2. And if I take 1/2 times -16, I get a value of -8 on the right-hand side. What do you notice? Right-hand expression, value of -8. Left-hand expression, value of -8. What true statement do we get? The statement that we got there is that -8 equals -8, which means the correct answer to the equation is -2, because both sides of the statement is -8. Number 2, lucky for you guys, we're going to take and put a lovely X through that. We're going to skip that puppy because we don't have to worry about that for now. Number 3, Trey solved the equation. 1/4 times the quantity of 8x plus 16 equals 4x as shown at the right. Describe the error that he made. Then solve the problem. So if I look at Trey's work over here at the right-hand side, first off, I notice there are parentheses in there. So step number 1 is apply the distributive property. So Trey should take 1/4 times 8x and 1/4 times 16. And if I look at his work, he took 1/4 times 8x to get 2x, but Trey forgot to take 1/4 times 16. Distributive property is take the number on the outside of the parentheses, multiply it by the terms on the inside of the parentheses. So describe the error he made. Okay, my friend Trey did not multiply 1/4 and 16. It then goes on to say, then solve the problem. So folks, we're going to go over here to the right, and we are going to solve it correctly. So 1/4 times 8x would give us 2x, and 1/4 times 16 gives me 4. So applying the distributive property correctly would be 2x plus 4. I solve the equation. There are no more parentheses. Step number 2 would be combine like terms on either side. There are no like terms to combine on either side. Step 3 would be eliminate the variable from one side of the equation. So I'm going to look at this situation and eliminate 2x from one side of the equation. That would leave me with 4 on the left-hand expression, and on the right hand, 4x minus 2x would leave me 2x. Next step would be to eliminate any constant from the other side. There is no constant on the right-hand side, so then I would eliminate the coefficient by using inverse operations and divide both sides by 2, and final value x equals 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Okay, that takes care of page 143. We're looking at page 144 now. Describe the first step you would use to solve the equation. Is that the only possible step? Hopefully when you look at the equation that's given to us in number 4, you notice that there are like terms on the right hand side. So the first thing I would do is combine the 7y and this minus y. And again, remember, if there is no coefficient to a variable, the coefficient is 1. So it's really 7y minus 1y. A second way we could think about that, any subtraction, is the same thing as adding the opposite. So we could also look at that as 7y plus a negative 1y. So what would I do? Combine like terms. Is that the only possible first step? No. We could also eliminate the constant from the right side. Beautiful writing there, Mr. Knoll. Thank you. I appreciate it. Number 5, solve the equation in 2 different ways. Hey folks, you know, if you look at the work I'm doing with you compared to the work Mr. Fricke's doing, I've already eliminated number 2, and guess what? We're not going to solve this 2 ways because I am your favorite 8th grade math teacher. We're going to solve the equation in 1 way. So we're doing this 1 way and 1 way only. Let's take that equation. 6p equals 0.6 times 5p plus 15. And we're going to go through and solve this equation. Step number 1, eliminate parentheses using distributive property. So the first thing we're going to do is take 6 times 0.6 or 6/10 times 5p, and then 6/10 times 15. So solving that, 6p. When I multiply 6/10 times 5, you will get 3p plus 6/10 times 15 will give you 9. Second step is combine like terms on either side. There are not like terms on either side that I can combine. Step 3 is move the variable term from one side to the other side. So in this case, I'm going to eliminate the 3p from the right side by subtracting 3p. If I do that to one side, I have to do that to the other side. So I eliminate it from the right-hand side. 6p minus 3p leaves me 3p equal to 9. Next step would be to eliminate any constants from the other side, and there are no constants left. So then I eliminate the coefficient by using inverse operations, and in this case I would divide both sides by 3 to eliminate that coefficient, and p is equal to 9 divided by 3, which is equal to 3. Next question, number 6. Ooh, this looks like a fun one. The 2 rectangles shown below have the same perimeter. Interesting. Write and solve an equation to find a value of x. Then find the measures of the length and width of rectangle B. All measurements are in inches. So if I look at rectangle A has a length of 7, 5, Now this bottom side would also be 7, and the left side would be 5. If I look at rectangle B, I have a side of x, a side of 4x minus 3, which again, knowing the definition of a rectangle, sides opposite of one another are congruent. So the side on the right is equal to x. The side on the bottom is equal to the side opposite it, which is 4x minus 3. Now, in the directions, they said the two rectangles have equal perimeters. They are the same. So write and solve an equation to find the value of x. Well, the rectangle A, the perimeter of rectangle A is equal to 7 plus 5 plus 7 plus 5. And if I add those up, rectangle A's perimeter is equal to 24. And again, with them saying that they are equal to one another, that means 24 is equal to all four sides of rectangle B added up together, which would be 4x minus 3. That's this first side, plus the second side, which is x. Sorry about my writing. Plus the third side, which is 4x minus 3, plus the fourth side, which is x. So now, obviously, if I look at the expression on the right, we can simplify by combining like terms. I'm going to combine like terms. Those four terms all have the same variable raised to the same power, so I can combine those together. 4x plus x plus 4x plus x would give me a total of 10x. And then the other two terms that I can combine, this minus 3 and this minus 3. Now remember, subtracting 3 is the same thing as adding a negative 3. So really I'm taking negative 3 plus negative 3 to give me a total sum of negative 6. So my equation, remember, rectangle A had a perimeter of 24. Rectangle B, we could say, has a perimeter of 10x plus a negative 10. So equation 24 equal to 10x plus a negative 6. Then it says find the value of x. So I go back to my equation on the right, and I go through the steps to solve this equation. First step, eliminate any parentheses using the distributive property. The parentheses shown in the equation do not show the distributive property. It's just showing that the value of that number is negative 6. Second step, combine like terms. There are no terms to combine on either side. Third step would be to eliminate the constant from one side of the equation. So to eliminate the negative 6, I'm going to use inverse operations and add 6. If I add 6 to one side, I have to add 6 to the other side. So this cancels out the negative 6, or eliminates negative 6 from the right-hand side. That would leave 10x on the right-hand side, and a total of 30 on the left-hand side. Next step would be to eliminate the coefficient from the variable term. The coefficient is multiplying x by 10, so to solve, I use the inverse of multiplying by 10 and divide by 10. Final value, 30 divided by 10, which is 3. I go back to my work over here. We just found the value of x is equal to 3. What is the length of rectangle B? Now, the length of rectangle B is the expression 4x minus 3, which if I use my value of x, which is 3, if I go over here back to the right, 4x minus 3. We just found our value of x to equal 3. So we evaluate that expression. So I put in 3 into that value of x. and I evaluate the expression. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. So the length of rectangle B is 9. The width of rectangle B, if I look at the width there, the width is x. The value of x we got is 3. The expression is x. So simply, the width of rectangle B is 3. And if I want to check my work, I can go back to rectangle 3 to say, if this side is 9, this side is 3, this bottom side is equal to its side opposite, which is 9, and this side over here is 3. If I add up those four numbers, 3 plus 9 is 12, plus 3 more is 15, plus 9 more is 24. So rectangle B has a perimeter of 24. Rectangle A had a perimeter of 24. They are equal. Okay, folks, so that is my lesson on 143 and 144. Your assignment is to complete pages 145 and 146. Okay, question numbers 1 through 5. Folks, if you get stuck, if you need help, please reference the people and their thoughts over here on the right hand side. Their thoughts can help you check your work and help you think through this situation. Okay, folks, thanks much. Talk to you soon.